Hi Tubby.
Hi Aditya.
Welcome back to Sudeep Audio's converSAtions. You've been in the industry for almost 30 years.
Yeah,
So, which is a long period.
it is, yes.
And
Yeah,
it's an everyday learning, like we all know.
absolutely.
So, at the same time, there is a lot of people from outside Bombay who have, typical concerns because they have no clue. They're not from here, so they have no clue about how to go about, getting into this line and all. So, we've kept some interesting questions, or at least basic questions to start with, which you can answer.
Sure.
So, which software we should start with? मतलब हर आदमी पूछता है मैं चालू कर रहा हूँ तो क्या लूँ? एंड ये बहुत है कि यार बॉम्बे में मुझे म्यूजिक प्रोड्यूसर बनना है तो मुझे लॉजिक आना तो बहुत ही जरूरी है.
Okay.
तो व्हाट इज योर सजेशन इन दिस केस?
See, to start with, I would definitely say that you really don't require a specific DAW. आप जो भी कोई प्लेटफॉर्म के ऊपर कंफर्टेबल है. Like I'm a Logic user. I was a complete hardware boy.
अच्छा उसके पहले कोई दूसरा
उसके पहले
software?
कभी नहीं. I used to program the entire song or background score on my this small little Roland ka MC 50, 80. These were the major sequences that point of time. So I was completely a hardware boy. So तो मेरे लिए computer screen was a major block. I couldn't understand what is happening. Never used internet at that point of time also. And like iPhones वगैरह तो बहुत दूर की बात उस वक्त तो थे भी नहीं. Logic is become the DAW for most of the music arrangers, programmers or producers. But it is not at all necessary that you need to have Logic to be a part of the industry. It's nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know so many people who use Cubase, who use like Ableton, yes. So it's not necessary. It is what you are comfortable on, and आपको किसके अंदर comfortable महसूस होता है काम करते वक्त.
Right.
That is the only thing I would say.
Right. तो एक जन ने पूछा है कि मैं कहीं बीपीओ में काम कर रहा हूँ और मुझे म्यूजिक में बहुत इंटरेस्ट है.
Okay.
तो मैं कोई इंस्टीट्यूट ज्वाइन करके ये लाइन में आ सकता हूँ और मैं बॉम्बे जैसे शहर में पढ़ूँ, चेन्नई पढ़ूँ या आउट ऑफ इंडिया से पढ़ूँ.
हाँ.
तो आई एम ऑलरेडी डूइंग अ जॉब, मतलब जॉब छोड़ छाड़ के ये सब करना चाहते हैं. तो व्हाट वुड योर एडवाइस टू सच पीपल बी?
See, frankly speaking, I've been wanting to talk about this for quite a long time because lot of people, काफी लोग आते हैं और बोलते हैं कि यार मुझे म्यूजिक का शौक है और मुझे अभी इसके अंदर करियर परस्यू करना है. सो मैं खाली एक ही चीज बोलना चाहता हूँ कि म्यूजिक इज समथिंग विच इट हैज टू बी विद इन यू. अगर आपके अंदर वो स्ट्रीक है क्रिएटिविटी की, then only I think you can become a musician first of all, and then you can think of becoming a music producer or a music composer. Normally what happens कि बहुत लोगों को ऐसा लगता है कि यार मैं कंप्यूटर खरीद लेता हूँ, मैं सॉफ्टवेयर खरीद लेता हूँ और मैं कीबोर्ड खरीद लेता हूँ and I can start doing music. Well, you can. आप जब ये सब चीजें खरीदते हो, आपके पास पूरी कैपेबिलिटी है ये सब म्यूजिक क्रिएट करने का. मगर म्यूजिक इज जस्ट नॉट अबाउट ड्रैगिंग लूप्स एंड टेकिंग सम लूप फ्रॉम समवेयर. एंड आई फील you need to understand the art form first, okay, and that I think it's normally music is something which is either you have it in you or you don't have. You cannot learn it. Even if you learn it, then it is your interest or your passion, that how much you want to take it further from by just learning it. Because what happens कि ऐसा नहीं है कि आप स्कूल जाते हो, आपने डिसाइड किया कि मैं बड़ा होकर डॉक्टर बनूंगा और मुझे साइंस करना है तो मैं डॉक्टर बन जाऊंगा, या मुझे फिजिक्स करके मैं साइंटिस्ट बन जाऊंगा. इस तरीके का देयर इज नो फॉर्मूला ऑफ म्यूजिक. लोगों ने अपनी लाइफ दे चुके हैं बचपन से सीख के, और आज भी कितने वक्त ऐसा होता है, कितने बार ऐसा होता है कि आई एम लिसनिंग टू समथिंग एंड सडनली आई से कि यार ये तो मैंने पहले कभी सोचा ही नहीं था और ना ही कभी मैंने सुना था. एंड देन that is your passion and that is your interest to the music, how much you want to take it in. So I would go back to my house, I would go back to the piano or my keyboard and think कि यार ये जो मैंने आज सुना मैंने record पे या radio में, ये मैंने जो सुना ये ऐसा 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 था, इतने सालों से मेरे को ये कैसे समझ में नहीं आया कि ये ऐसा भी हो सकता है. तो it is, I'm just trying to tell you कि it is a process which at 80 also suddenly you will learn something that you had left all these years, and when you're at 80 you realize that this is something which I learned today. So I am just trying to say that if you're really doing well in your business or in your workplace or whatever, just because somebody says that, oh, I think you have a musical incline or you have a very nice voice or you have a very nice ears for music, don't think that you can become a great musician or a great music composer or a best music programmer or a music producer. You know, there is a lot of hard work. There's a lot of, it is like giving your life to music.
मतलब ये नहीं कि 2 साल में मैं सीख के कहीं से आया.
बिल्कुल नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं.
चाहे मैं विदेश से भी सीख के हूँ.
बिल्कुल नहीं,
तो भी.
बिल्कुल नहीं. मतलब आप कहीं से भी सीख के आइए. I know so many people, they have gone to best of colleges, like, you know, Berkeley, Amsterdam, you name it, and they've gone to those places. But when they do something, there is no soul to it, or there is something which is missing. What is that? Maybe I'm not able to explain. Maybe better you know, teacher or better knowledgeable person can pinpoint that this is the problem. But you know, there is something which is lacking. But there are some people जो ना ही कोई कॉलेज गए, ना ही कुछ सीखा, but they have their own, means music उनके अंदर ही है, and the way they think, the way they approach music, or the way they have ideas is completely different. What I think यार, this guy has not learnt at all, but his programming or his sound design or his production sounds like a full-on, you know, a proper learned music production.
Okay, so going to school is an advantage.
It's an advantage, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, but India, foreign ऐसा कुछ है?
It is not necessary that it is.
मैं बाहर से पढ़ के आऊँ तो better रहेगा.
नहीं, बिल्कुल ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. Only thing is सिखाने का तरीका अलग है. They have a different, like you know, they have a different approach to music, and it is, first of all, you need to understand what kind of music you want to do, because music is something is huge. If you think, oh, you know, today I am in a corporate scenario and I think I have an artist in me, I want to leave everything and start doing this. You can. There is no stopping. You definitely can. But it is a risk which you are taking. Whether you want to take that risk, it's completely your choice. But I cannot tell you कि yeah, you leave everything and you come here without either seeing you or without somebody else telling you whether you have it in you or you don't have it.
Right. Now, in your case, आपको कैसे पता चला कि बॉस अब मैं प्रोड्यूसर बन सकता हूँ? अभी तक तो मैं चलो एक बैंड में या एक ग्रुप में मैं कीबोर्ड बजाता था एज अ बिगिनर, लेकिन आपको कब लगा कि अब मेरे में वो कॉन्फिडेंस है कि यार मैं पूरा गाना उठा सकता हूँ अपने दम पे?
उसके लिए I studied music because I'm third generation in music. Music was always there in my family. And how I decided to become an arranger is again that, you know, it's a process. You pass standard first, then you move into second. You cannot jump into second, or you cannot jump into third and skip second. You cannot do that. It's not the way it works. So same way music, you cannot be a student and suddenly you start playing professionally. You cannot. You need to be a student. Then you start being hired by people as a musician. If people hear you as a student and say, "Yaar, this boy got something," then they might call you, or you approach them saying, "I feel that I'm ready today. Can you give me a chance, or would you like to give me a chance? And you know, I want to present myself as a musician." Then I served myself as a musician for a couple of years. Then I realized, you know, I don't want to be stuck in this musician zone. I want to write music, I want to write pieces, I want to write new rhythm patterns and stuff like that. Then I started making my own small bits and then started playing to people, friends and stuff like that. And that's how the word spreads. Like in my case, because of my dad, I had a lot of friends in terms of, very senior friends and all, a lot of composers and all. And they were looking for some new, fresh talent. That's when they approached me saying, you know what, I have a song and I think that you can arrange a song for me and I want to give it a shot and why don't you do a song? And that's how I did the song and that's how I became a music producer, which was then used to be arrangers. So it's just a term which is changed from arranger to a music producer, but it's the same job which my father, I don't know, so many other music arrangers used to do at that point of time. The only difference was those guys used to do with all the real instruments, the real musicians, and we do with the computer box. That's the only difference.
किसी भी मूवी का आप जब बैकग्राउंड स्कोर स्ट्रोक ओरिजिनल साउंड ट्रैक जो बोलते हैं बाहर ओएसटी वो करते हैं तो उसमें आप कैसे स्प्लिट करते हैं बैकग्राउंड स्कोर को और ज्वाइन करते हैं फाइनल मिक्स में या फिर कैसे मतलब आप पूरा अप्रोच करते हैं एक फिल्म स्कोरिंग में?
Whenever I do a film score, I normally tell the director or the editor that you give me a film in first half and second half.
अच्छा, not real wise.
Not real wise. I don't like to do real wise.
क्यों मतलब प्रॉब्लम?
Because problem नहीं है. It's not a problem. It's just that के when I do a score, it is not necessary that I would start from the beginning.
Okay.
I would see a first full half. However, the intermission is happening, and I think we are the only country where intermission happens. Normally, everywhere, movies are being seen in a full one shot length. Whereas Hindi, yes, abhi bhi we follow the trend of first half and second half. So I like to first see the first half in 2-3 times in a flow, and then I never start with first piece or first sequence or first scene or I like to jump. Maybe I'll do the interval piece as my first day piece on the score, So for me it is not and the thing is I don't like to do reel wise like I said. So then again my project is not reel wise.
Okay.
Normally if you do a Hindi commercial film, there are about 8 reels. So each reel is about 20-21 minutes. So that's how they split the whole 3 hours or 2.5 hours into 8 reels. And normally the 4th reel would be your interval reel and the 8th reel would be your climax reel. But I never do reeling kind of, approach. If you feel you are okay reel wise, you do your score reel wise. If you feel you want to have your project in one go, you have your project in one go. Only thing is when you do a one go project, everything from your movie to your music to your tempo, everything has to be timeline aligned properly. Because if you have a first half, अगर आपने beginning का कोई piece किया और आपने last का कोई piece किया, अब बीच का पीस आपका जो करने का जब टाइम आता है आप सोचते हो कि यार मेरे को इसका टेम्पो मेरे को चेंज करना है या कुछ करना है, तो लॉजिक एंड मेनी अदर प्लेटफॉर्म्स आप अगर यहाँ का टेम्पो चेंज करोगे तो ऑटोमेटिकली आपका जो बाद का पीस है उसका सिंक हिल जाता है, उसका सिंक यू लूज द सिंक. So for that reason many people don't do a project.
Okay.
But for me my background score is more time bound. I don't put a click and I don't start my pieces with a click. I used to.
Okay.
But like I said, you progress. You start realizing what is that you don't want to do.
Right. With that thought in mind, एक और question जो आया इसी से connected कि आप अपनी orchestral sample libraries जो use करते हैं,
हाँ.
उसमें realism कैसे introduce कर पाएं?
See, first of all, libraries are available. They are available to everybody. You buy the library and you have the library with you. And the most important thing about all the libraries are that, you know, which I also want to discuss this, because, you know, I see a lot of people, I'm sorry, I'm deviating from the topic, but a lot of people say, ki, oh man, you know, my Mac or my hack or whatever is filled with software, or I have this, अरे तूने ये सुना क्या, तूने वो सुना क्या? And I say, yeah, I said, yeah, I heard it. So when did you, like, कभी तूने खरीदा? नहीं यार, मैंने तो क्रैक खरीदा.
क्रैक भी खरीदते हैं.
Yeah. So I really genuinely request musicians, producers, music producers, composers to buy original software, to buy original sound, because the thing is, I completely agree, you cannot buy everything. आपकी मार्केट में जो है आपके पास, आप नहीं ले सकते हो, और मुझे नहीं लगता लेना भी चाहिए, जरूरत भी नहीं. बट अगर आपको अगर क्रैक देखना ही है तो या श्योर यू पुट इट इन योर कंप्यूटर, बट द मिनट यू लाइक अ पर्टिकुलर say library
or patch also,
you please buy that, because I feel there are a lot of people behind it who have created that, dependent on thinking that people will buy it and we will get some revenue out of it. So I feel it is very necessary for us, being a professional and being somebody who earns from, you know, from your music,
अपनी रोजी
रोटी उसके ऊपर चलती है, तो I feel that you should buy it, and the best place to buy then it's आपके सामने sudeepaudio.com.
मतलब just for clarification, सर को कुछ कमीशन नहीं मिलता ये सब बोलने के लिए.
जीरो कमीशन. मेरे को एक फ्री भी सॉफ्टवेयर नहीं मिला, ना ही मेरे को एक फ्री
टी-शर्ट मिला सर.
टी-शर्ट. हाँ. No, thank you so much for the t-shirt. Yeah. So yeah, coming back to my library, मेरा पूरा orchestral जो template है, it is dependent only onto these two major libraries. Hollywood strings. I've got the diamond collection of Hollywood strings, which again thanks to Aditya Mehta. Aditya, thank you so much for giving me. I think I got the first diamond.
And that was like 12 years ago.
Yeah, I think when they launched, I think I was in pre-order or something like that. And Hollywood Brass Diamond is my major, and Symphobia 1 and 2 again is my major orchestral library. I really like the sound of these two. I'm not doubting the other. Like 8DO is really great. You know, LA strings and stuff like that. They are all good. I'm not saying, but it's my personal choice, and these are the only things I have in my computer.
Correct.
2004, I got onto DAWs. So from 2004 to today, 2019, I have zero crack in my computer. Never. I never had any crack.
And thank you so much for supporting the industry in this form. Because you are dependent on them, they are dependent on you.
Absolutely.
It's a symbiotic relationship.
Absolutely. And the thing is, when you talk about Hollywood strings, or you talk about 8DO, or you talk about Symphobia, they all have great amount of articulation in their libraries, which they have given on their expression and on your mod wheel. And most important thing is, you need to, when you're writing a piece of music, you need to understand what you're writing for and how realistic you can make it, you know, because these are the tools, again, like I said, like the sample, the computer, the mod wheel, the expression, these are just the tool for you to make it sound as real as possible. So your duty and your experience and your passion for that music comes when you're sitting on that box, which is completely a humanless robot, computer, machine, which is just standing there for you to start making music. So when I say you to start making music, you need to feel the music first. You need to understand the instruments first. Okay, if I write for violin, if tomorrow, even if they want to play my part, they should be able to play it. You know, because normally what happens, keyboard players, they have 10 fingers, so they think, so normally they tend to play everything in one go. But the real orchestra doesn't work like that. Every instrument has their range, every instrument has their limitations. So you need to understand all those things and then start writing And yeah, then you have reverbs, and then you have EQs, and you have separate other things to make it sound more realistic. But your basic realistic or real sounding production will only come from the basic of your instrument and from your library, whichever you're using, the way it should be used.